Folks, what's happening? It's the champs. It's Moshe. I jumped in first because I'm feeling myself. This weekend, February 8th through the 10th, me and Douggpound will be up in San Francisco at the San Francisco Sketch Fest. Then March 8th through 10th, I'll be in South by Southwest in Austin. And March 14th through the 18th, I'll be at Caroline's on Broadway in New York City. Obviously, get some T-shirts. Go to bluecollardistro.com/thechamps and cop yourself a Champs T-shirt. That's exciting stuff.
Yeah, this weekend. Let me just say, I'll be there on the 9th in San Francisco.
Just go to sfsketchfest.com for all that information.
Hi, Neal Brennan.
February 16th to 17th, I'm doing the Traverse City Comedy Festival thing. It's Michael Moore, whatever. He does a comedy festival. I'm doing that. Come see me, Trevor, in northern Michigan. I don't want to, keep me warm. And then I'm doing the Gilda's thing, the Gilda Laugh Fest after that, which I believe is the following weekend, February, we'll say 23 and 24.
That's in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
That's in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Then I'm doing Tacoma, March 7th, 8th, and 9th. Tacoma, come fuck with me. You've been good to me in the past. Be good to me in the future. Boston, March 16th. At the Sinclair in Cambridge, Boston, March 16th.
But this is even more important than any of our dates, right? What we care the most about is literacy. And if you're illiterate, a great solution to your illiteracy is an audiobook. You don't have to read anymore. You can just listen to it.
Oh, yeah. We're here to. This is an ad for Audible, if nothing else.
Audible.com.
You gotta go to audiblepodcast.com/thechamps. And go pick yourself. Hey, dummy, we know you want to read. But you never learned how.
You literally cannot. And maybe you don't have any money to buy a book.
If you get a little more well-read, maybe your pussy game would be a little better.
Pussy game up.
Jesus.
I don't know why you mentioned that, Doug, but yeah, maybe so. Audible.com.
Audiblepodcast.com/thechamps.
And they're offering a free audiobook download, right? If you're a first-timer, you can get a free one, which is really, it's like drugs. So go get one. There's a lot of great ones out there.
And it makes us look good when you go there, and then they advertise on the show, and et cetera, et cetera.
I just read a great book called The Lost City of Z, which was super great. I would recommend copying that one. Or there's another great book called Kasher in the Rye.
What?
Is that an audiobook now?
It is an audiobook.
Who reads
you can get that there. I read it. It's my voice. Listen to this silky voice.
Or is it me?
It might be Neal. Who knows? You never
Can't
will
tell.
know. But anyway, go to audiblepodcast.com/thechamps.
And get an audio book because they are great for when you're exercising or when you are driving.
Indeed. Let's start the podcast.
Now you're fucking with the champs.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're back in the building with the champs. It's your favorite podcast. We are back recording. This is a very exciting episode. Say hi, Neal.
Hi, everybody.
Say hi, Doug.
I wanted you to have this, Moshe. This is like your...
Well, this is a big moment for me. This is true, I will say.
A kid from Oakland?
A kid from Oakland. I have one of my true heroes in the building. He doesn't understand how much this means to me, but somebody that I've been listening to since I was a very young man.
I'm not a pervert.
An Oakland legend, a hip-hop legend. This is exciting shit, man. It's Too Short, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's me saying fuck.
Yeah, Too Short is in the building.
All right, I don't even know where to begin, Short. Moshe, why don't you explain to people what you explained to me about Short, and then
deadly streets of Oakland.
Well, I will say that there's probably no musician for, especially kids that grew up in the 90s in my generation.
Dirtbag white kids.
Dirtbag white kids, that's right. There's probably no more significant Oakland musician. There's a lot of significant Oakland musicians, but Too Short has you have a special place in the kind of in the Oakland imagination.
Well, yes, it's that I grew up on you type of factor, and I kind of tell people come to me all the time. They say, "Too Short, man, I grew up on you," and I'm like, so did I, because I started when I was a little kid.
Yeah,
14 years old, and I pretty much grew up listening to Too Short too. So I took the journey with you. I know what you mean.
Right. So you moved from here originally to Oakland?
When I was 14 years old,
you were stuck in Hollywood, and you're like, I got to make it. I got to get the fuck up to Oakland.
Yeah. So we moved up to the Bay, and that's where I started rapping. And I kind of always associated my rap career with Oakland.
What were you doing?
I'm in Oakland right now.
Explain the thing about personalized rapping.
Oh well, that was your. I mean, you could probably explain it better than me. You started before records. What were you doing?
Well, I had a rap partner. His name was Freddie B. We're talking like 1981, 82, 83, 84, right in those years. We were in high school, and Freddie B was born and raised in Oakland. He was the kind of kid who had been in trouble when he was younger. He used to live in West Oakland in Campbell Village. Then he moved to East Oakland. He was like a juvenile detention, all kind of stuff. So
Moshe has an erection right now. Any sort of crime in Oakland, specific neighborhoods of Oakland, East Oakland. Oh.
You hear me? I'm all silent. Should I can't even speak? I'm too excited.
So basically, my rap partner was pretty popular in the streets. He knew everybody, and we started rapping together in like 11th grade, and we had been rapping a while, but separately, and we met. And he was like, "Man, we should sell this." And I was like, "Sell it to who?" And he's like, "Just take it to the streets and sell it." So we took.
Where you were just rapping at like the lunch? Were you in school?
Nah, we were a little more high tech. I kind of from the start, I had always had equipment that you could record on.
Got it.
Always.
But you were 14 years old and you had recording equipment already.
My father gave me a hand-me-down stereo. Was able to plug a microphone into it. At first, we could only get the voice in one speaker and the music in the other.
Right.
But then we
That's what we got.
So yeah,
That's
basically you had a
setup.
You had a podcast.
we graduated and got a little Radio Shack mixer, and it put everything in stereo. So we took this tape to these drug dealers, and they were at Royal Park over in East Oakland.
Where did you find drug dealers in East Oakland?
That shit's some Bay Area shit.
It wasn't hard. So basically, we walked up to him, and like I said, he always knew a lot of guys in the streets, and he told him, he said, we got this cassette of us rapping. You guys want to buy it? And the first thing somebody was like, well, why would we buy it? Like, well, just listen to it. So we walked over to one guy's car. He had a loud stereo. Got a little audience, probably 10, 15 guys, and we pushed play. I can't tell you how long it played, maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And one of the guys pressed eject and said, how much you want for it? He was like, give us $5. And then somebody else said, I want one too. We were like, well, hold on, we only got one. We'll be back tomorrow. And that started the hustle. We came back the next day with a bag of tapes.
Awesome.
These guys over at Royal Park bought them. We came back the next day, walked over 2 blocks to 84th and Bancroft. They bought them. Next day, we were on 90th, and everybody on every little turf where all the drug dealers sold drugs wanted to buy these tapes we had.
And by the time like day 3 where there was like, oh, and were you Too Short back then?
Yeah, that was the name, Too Short.
That's great.
Yeah. So did buzz start to build in the town? People were talking about, oh, who's this young dude or whatever.
Yeah, and the way they got customized, there was this real scary drug dealer. His name was Hot Lips, and he was like the kind of guy a lot of people feared, even though his name was Hot Lips. He was known for knocking.
By the way, I was watching First 48 last night, and they were looking for a guy named Main Man.
Main Man, Hot Lips.
God damn, that's a fucking great name.
So Hot Lips, not only was he a credible gangster who was a successful drug dealer at the time, he was also known for knocking motherfuckers out. That was his specialty, was the knockout.
Knocking them the fuck out?
He had two. He had Hot Lips and he had Knockout.
That was his specialty, was one punch and you're out. So he had a sidekick. One of his sidekicks' name was
Cold Lips.
Freddie Pratt. That was his birth name. Some guys, even though they're street guys, they go by their birth name.
Freddie Pratt's a decent name.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to keep your name, I endorse you, Freddie Pratt, wherever you are.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Freddie Pratt.
So Fred, he came up to us and he's like, man, you guys should come to my house and record. I got this super equipment. Fred was like a little drug dealer who, obviously had a car, money and stuff. So we're like, okay. We go over there and he takes us to Hot Lips' house.
And you're like, we're going to get knocked out.
We're very aware that we're inside of the drug house where, it's going down.
Was it like opulent or was it fucked up crack house?
It was fucked up PCP. Crack had.
Oh, this is before crack.
Wait,
PCP.
Speaking of the year, we're at 81 right now.
It's like 82.
Is hip hop even the music of the streets?
Yeah,
at that
songs
point?
like The Message were out.
Yeah.
Groups
That's
like
fucked up shit right there, man.
groups like Run DMC were about to hit. It was.
And
relevant.
what were you wearing? Like cut off jean jackets and shit?
Believe it or not, 501s and Nikes.
Yeah, well, that's the
Oh,
thing.
good.
Sure,
Nothing changed.
you always had a kind of a simple style.
Yeah, same shit. T-shirt,
Yeah.
jeans.
I got a question. Did the drug sales go up when your tapes started getting hot with the drug dealers?
That's why they wanted
the
them.
soundtrack to their
I'm
dealing?
pretty sure the co-worker relations got a lot better on the turf when the Too Short tape was
Oh,
playing.
you mean there was peace in the streets because of Too Short?
Thank you, Too Short. Thank you. Thousands of lives
So
saved.
we're at this house, man, and we're in this little apartment, whatever, and we're getting ready to leave, and Hot Lips just comes out of nowhere. He'd never said nothing to me in his life, never met him, nothing, and he just says, the fuck are y'all doing in my house? And we're like, yeah, we here with Fred. We just, rapping. Like, man, get out of here with that rap bullshit. Nobody want to hear that shit. And just, he just pretty much.
I'm picturing the dad from Friday right now.
He cussed us the fuck out. And in the midst of him cussing us out, he said, I wouldn't listen to that shit unless it was about me.
Huh.
And that's all we heard. We left. We like, oh shit, we gotta go make a tape about him so he don't fucking kill us. And we made a tape that was about him, his block, his turf, and all this stuff, and
just like mercilessly kissing his ass, basically.
And we gave it to him without telling him what it was. We just like,
happy birthday.
We're like, here, check this out. He never said thank you. He never said I liked it. He never said I listened to it. Probably a week went by, and this guy just runs up on us like another fucking scary character, and he's like, you too short, you Freddie. My rap's partner name was Freddie B. He's like, you too short, you Freddie B. He's like, you motherfuckers better make me a tape just like the one Hot Lips got or fucking y'all up. He's like, you on my block right now?
Oh, so it was just a series of threats that were getting your music career?
So then we come back. Now we in some shit. We got to come back. And these guys are like the king of the block. They run their little drug gangs or whatever. And we make him the tape. And then we started getting like summons to all the neighborhoods. Yeah, I'm Big Joe. I want one of those tapes too.
I'm main
Did
man.
they pay you
Make
for these tapes,
tape.
or you just had to do them to keep
the price? The second guy who came and threatened us gave us $20, so that was the price for the custom.
And
tape.
Hot Lips one was free.
Hot Lips was on the house.
Yeah.
Were they garbage songs?
No, these were actually. I had good equipment. I had some decent.
And a new beat. Everybody got their own beat.
Not always. We just would particularly
you might double up a beat.
Who was making the beats?
I was using the B side of hip hop instrumentals, or even disco records, whatever it may be hot with a hot instrumental on the B side, the 12-inch.
Yeah,
and it would be loud and clear. If you had a nice stereo, it sound good in your stereo. I had a little effects machine to make the voice go yo 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 yo. Like we had it all. It was the shit. And then I'd mention your car, maybe mention your girlfriend's name, a couple of your homies, what block you on, and it was something that you could ride around in your car and play your own custom tape. What happened in the long run was that all the bosses summons us to their turf, told us to make them special tapes, and then would invite us back to birthday parties and barbecues and house parties and have us come rap. And we just kind of became like mascots versus, just rappers. They really loved us.
And would you kind of have them over a barrel? Where you're like, look, I'd love to do your birthday party, but I'm getting, my throat's a little sore, and you might have to pay me $500 or $1,000 or whatever. Like,
now, we're talking the early '80s. We do it, man. $50, $75, $100. We come and show up at your house party. We DJ the party. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, whatever.
And then that led into you starting your own record label. What was the name of it? Girls 99.
The first label I was affiliated with was 75 Girls.
75 Girls, right?
And same deal, just just everything, just drug dealers. I like to say that cocaine funded my career in the long run.
Crackheads.
Yeah.
Basically, because a lot of
PCP gave you your start,
right? And then cocaine really cemented you,
and then coke took you the rest of the way there.
And not using it at all, just basically just funded by. It's kind of like Miami.
Can you explain to people that are too young to remember PCP what that was exactly?
Now, Tusha, you're an expert on PCP. Explain to the kids.
No, they're kids that are like 25.
They're like embalming fluid or some shit.
It was embalming fluid that people would smoke.
Well, didn't they say about the weed in East Oakland that they used to sprinkle embalming fluid on it?
Yeah, they did a lot of stuff
in D.C. too, and they called it Hinckley after John.
Is it the same thing as angel dust?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, man, you'd be dusted.
Yeah, we would buy
sacks.
We would buy sacks on 98th on the hill and on East 25th, and the one on East 25th, people were like, "Be careful."
They're like, "We got some extra embalming fluid. Why don't we put it on the weed?"
You want to hear the Oakland weed nightmare stories?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
I know guys who would take like some heroin and dissolve it in like water, like pure heroin, and spray it on the weed just so you get higher and think they got the best weed.
And you would get hooked.
They do it with PCP. They did it with. Sometimes they do it with Raid.
Isn't that a waste of money, though? Whenever they say they cut drugs with, like, you get some weed and it's like, oh, that's got angel dust on it. Why wouldn't they just sell that shit separately? Why do they got to,
They just start experimenting, man. I don't know, man. You got to go to the bay. Shit.
Yeah. You just don't get it, Doug.
You don't get it, man. Why the fuck the fools had to roll out of here?
That shit's some Bay Area shit, Northern California.
That's
exactly
Did you at this point have the like Shorty the Pimp persona? Were you talking about women at this point?
What we did before I went solo and I was with my rap partner in high school years, what we did was we pretty much.
Were you going to school also? Like you were going to class every day?
I kind of went to class every day. I was a fuck up, but I was a smart kid, so I pretty much maintained a D average on purpose.
Oh, there you go. Oh, for street cred.
Just to get to the next grade.
Oh yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I was a straight A student all my life. When I got to high school, I kind of wanted to be a bad
You would
kid.
agree that most rappers are intelligent people.
Yeah, you can't make it. Not a lot of ignorant, successful rappers.
That's I tell people that all the time.
You can't make
like, what is it? It's like nothing. You fucking if you're writing your own material,
right?
You've got to be intelligent.
It's sort of like
unless who's that new kid that straight up seems like he's on some special needs shit. The kid, the all gold shit.
I don't know.
Trinidad James.
Yeah, I mean that dude, like that dude is on some special needs.
I have to look this up.
Don't believe me? Just watch me.
No, I mean it's really basic shit.
So you were still in high school and you didn't yet have the Too Short persona fully.
But what we were doing, we were like commentators at the time. We would tell you we'd be naming the fly cars and using the latest slang words, and actually you'd hear us name people who were popular in the streets, and we kind of connected with Oakland, and in return we started adapting. Like you had these different things about Oakland that were great. You got the East Bay Dragons, you got the Hells Angels, and the
East Bay Dragons are like a black motorcycle gang.
Yeah,
kind of a thing.
It's they're like the Black Hells Angels,
right? Yeah,
and then you got
and then all right. So then, how did you parlay from just making local? You're basically just making local commercials for dudes.
Yeah. Well, what happened was the special request tapes, the custom tapes weren't that popular. They just kind of.
I can't imagine why not. A song about Charlie.
Because people didn't really want to spend the $20. So we had a limited clientele for that.
Right.
And
where you from?
And the guys who did it, they waited about 6 months. Say, hey, can I get a new one or something? So it wasn't really.
I'm up to some new shit.
I got a different girlfriend and
the way that we made money.
I gotta update my tape.
I want to bring you up to date on what I've been doing. I got a new job.
New car.
Yeah, I'm up.
I no longer have a Cadillac. I need you to update this.
I'm up to $9.25 an hour.
Yeah, so we basically we kind of the way we made money is we would have to make new songs. So we'd have to find a new song, a new beat to rap to.
Right.
And the tapes that I was getting, the hustle was pretty simple. I would go to Radio Shack. Was my spot back in the day. Radio Shack.
Yeah, sure. I still
Radio Shack sold 30-minute cassettes for $1.99 for 3 cassettes. Okay. So for $2, I could go in there. I wasn't expecting to really sell the $20 tapes, but for $2, every $2 make us $15, and that was our ratio. So we go in there and probably spend $10 and get 5 3-packs. And in a day or something, we go around and sell those tapes, and we just have pocket change. We do that every day. Some days we'd have more, some days we'd have less. But
it was fresh songs that wasn't about specific dude.
Every time we had little nicknames for the cassettes, and this was our policy. Like seriously, we put out these songs, and we're like, this is a limited series. We're gonna copy this tape until a certain point in time until we make a new one. And we're gonna just sell the last copy. I didn't save any of the copies. We sold everything.
So those are lost to history.
Yeah. So once I sold the last one, then our policy was now it's time to make a new one. That series is over.
And you don't have any masters of those.
But people copied and dubbed them a million times over.
Have you ever received any of them back?
Yeah, they sound pretty shitty when you get them back.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's just this energy you put out there. I don't want it back. I don't want to hear it. It probably sounds like a piece of shit. I don't know. But it was how we got our money, and it was always new with us. Like for 4 years straight, every time you saw us, every 2-3 weeks, we had a whole new 30-minute thingamajig. And it would be like, sometimes I would do the pause mix. Anybody remember the pause mix?
No.
Yeah, you got to hit pause right in the middle.
You
and
hit
then
pause like on the snare or something, or like on an off beat.
Yeah.
And then you start the record back, and then you catch the same beat and you press pause, and the listener on the playback, you never knew we stopped it. So I could take a 5-minute record and make it be a 15-minute record.
Oh, by just
you looped. You would eventually make a loop.
By pausing it.
We didn't have the loop back then.
You looped your own loop.
So you were doing like people do that now with YouTube. They put out a new YouTube video like every week.
Dudes also do that shit on the street where they're like, "Hey man, you like hip hop?"
Oh yeah.
In New York, they do that constantly.
You started that.
I would like to think they've come up to you not knowing who you are and been like, "My man, you like hip hop?"
Has that happened?
I get a lot of stuff, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
All the above.
Oh man, you must have so many garbage demos in the back of your car.
I used to listen to demos when it was not so many. I would listen to them, and we'd do the the freeway, get the freeway test.
Oh, yeah. If you throw it out on the freeway.
Only listen to demos on the freeway.
Oh, you want to hear a demo story gone right? Let me clear my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Dude gave that to Chris Rock. A local dude gave the dude. It was Fat Man Scoop. Mm-hmm. Gave it to Chris. Was like, I'm trying to get on with it, and Chris listened to it like accidentally, and then gave it to Rick Rubin, and then it became a big. And then Rick put him on. So guys, once in every 10 million tries, this will work.
I have a theory. My theory is that if you're up and coming, you should be the last person bragging on it. The people that know you, love you, fans, your up and coming fans should be
talking about you.
Man, have you heard?
Yeah,
that's how you know it's the truth. When the person tells me directly, I'm like, bullshit.
Huh?
Yeah. No, I agree. But what do you make of you trying to sell tapes on the street? I mean, you were the only person going like. I mean, it's not like
we never solicited a tape ever. Every time we walked up, they knew we were coming. From day one, we never ever had. We never went home with tapes. They always sold out.
And you never had beef in other people's neighborhood?
We were the rappers, man. There were no rappers out there. We were the only rappers.
Yeah, all right. This is what I wanted to ask. You know how every dude on the street thinks he can rap now? Mm-hmm. What did everybody think they could do in 1983? What did every dude in the hood think he could do in 1983?
Basketball, football. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean? Like
boxing. Just
yeah, no, that's what I say. Every brother I know thinks he can rap and box.
Yeah, rap was the new. I can do that.
Were you the first? Were you and Freddie the first Oakland rappers?
I probably would think that there was maybe one or two that made an attempt before us, but nobody really made an impact. It was a couple of guys put out records before us. It was very motivational. It was a record called Super Rat, and the guy's name was Motorcycle Mike. And they
I like you get away with a name like that.
It was a drug. I think this drug kingpin named Mickey Mo had from 23rd. He had put the label together for that. But then there was another guy named Steve Walker. He had a record out called Tally Ho.
Tally Ho, a Motorcycle Mike.
So they had made records before I could make a record, and they were from Oakland, but it was just like a one-time thing.
Right. So then you started you selling out, and then what was the next step? And I'm
the house parties were a major factor. We used to DJ the rowdiest house parties in Oakland, like the house parties where you can't find a DJ to go to, and like a fight would break out.
Oh, because they would be scared, you're saying?
Yeah, a fight would break out, and then the fight would be over, and everybody come back. You're like, where the fuck is the other speaker, man? Like the speaker.
Everybody, they took the speakers.
Shit like that, those kind of fights. So just
got better.
Fight through the front door. Don't open the door and fight outside. Just fight through it.
That's hilarious. And what did you? All right. So then, when did you get signed?
So here's the story. My rap partner. We get out of high school.
Freddie B, of course.
The crack cocaine hits the streets, and it hits the streets real tough. My class of 84 classmates were given this. If you're not the few that are going on academically, or the really few that got some kind of sports scholarship,
right,
then you got two choices. You're going to be a crack dealer or a crack user. That pretty much was the makeover.
This was the valedictorian speech? Because that sounds pretty serious.
In general of what I seen, not that day, but in the long run, I look back and go, damn it.
I have an announcement to make for those of you who won't be going on to college.
Because in the inner cities, man, the crack thing, the way it came was like, freebasing was exotic and wonderful in the early 80s. And they packaged crack at first as like, hey, here's freebasing economically. Everybody's like, oh, I could do it. So it was like a lure. It was alluring.
It was like freebase people that were super rich.
Yeah, freebasing was what the rich folks did.
All right.
Right. It was like your tapes, man. They just started to spread through the hood. Everybody's like, did you hear about this new economical crack stuff?
So when I got out of when we got out of high school, my rap partner, he chose the trade, and he landed back in jail. And I hooked up with these guys, 75 Girls Records, and they really wanted to be the guy who owned 75 Girls Records. His name was Dean. He was like a cross between like fucking like Jimi Hendrix and like fucking the Pimp, the Mac or some shit.
Were they putting out other music besides rap?
They were working on all this rock and roll shit when I met him. They had like
he was a black dude.
He was a black dude. Yeah, he was from the projects, and he was a very, 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 very rich drug dealer.
Okay.
He had an 85 Benz, 85 Caddy, fleet full of cars in the driveway. His girls at his house.
And this is in 1983. He had these cars. I want to
this
say how much money
now.
this
2
guy
years
had.
ahead of time.
It's 85.
He had concept
It's
cars.
the year after I got out of high school. I'm at this house. This guy, the girls walk around in their underwear, topless. That's just a way of life in his house. He's just basically.
Right. This was before everyone was a drug dealer too, so they were all flashy and interesting.
This is when the Oakland Raiders and the Oakland A's and people would come up to the house and, hey, let me get an ounce.
This is when pimps could be flaunted.
Exactly. This when pimps were like fancy and stuff like that. Yeah, all those good days.
Right.
And basically, I ended up going solo, and the way it all happened was right before I met the 75 Girls people. The guy who owned 75 Girls, his little brother used to be able to borrow the Cadillacs, and he would come down off the big house on the hill, and he would fucking like smoke this super expensive weed with us, and he he's like, yeah, man, I've rapped too, and I got this stuff, and he's just one of those kind of guys that's just bragging and shit. He's like, yeah, you should meet my brother. And everybody knew who his brother was, so I'm like, okay, let's meet your brother. So we ride up there, and he opens the door, and he's like, yeah, what's up? I'll let y'all later. Bam, slam the door in our face. So we met his brother. Like, cool, whatever.
Family.
That was Dean.
Yes, Dean, yeah. So we go to I got an opening act. This guy named Lionel B, who worked for Bill Graham, saw me on the bus, and he's like, "Hey man, you too short." He's like, "How would you feel about opening up a show for Bill Graham? We got a UTFO, Roxanne come to town. How would you feel like opening up a show?" He let me open the show. He gave me $300 and let me do like about 15 minutes.
I love that he saw you on the fucking bus.
AC Transit, man. And the only way he knew I was, I had my hat on that said "Too Short."
That's so
I didn't
great.
wear that hat that day.
Did you have the dollar sign?
I had the dollar
back
sign on
then?
it.
You branded yourself perfectly from the jump.
And
that, would you chalk it up to luck?
I was a tagger too, man. I didn't do.
Were you really?
Just black marker. I had to have a Sharpie 24/7. Everywhere I went, I wrote Too Short.
That's
I don't
funny.
give a fuck where I was at. It's called marketing now, but back then it was just tagging. So
I think it's called tagging now. Back then it was
No, it's still called tagging. Thank
marketing
you, though.
now.
Yeah, it's marketing. Yeah, a lot of guys get locked up for marketing.
So you got a $300 gig, more money than you ever made for hip hop?
well, yeah, I was like, it was never about the money really. It was just just pocket change. Like it's more pocket, change in the pocket, whatever. So I get on stage. It's 1985. Like,
were you nervous?
I think being nervous is like the little butterflies. That's kind of like a part of what you want to do, but you got to realize that I've already grabbed the mic at every dance.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
How could he be nervous after the fight out the front door party?
Yeah, no, I know, but that's
every party we DJ, we rapped at.
It's good
I
training.
have rapped in front of so many people that the crowd and the moment is not the fear. It's like anxious. Like, give me the crowd. Let me get out there.
Yeah,
now.
probably must have felt a little bit easy in a weird way. Like easier than like it's organized, and you do shitty comedy shows, and then you're in like a real show, and you're like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, exactly. Once you get a real crowd and you get the energy, you can work it a lot better. So I kind of I got on stage. I get 15 minutes. I never had a record out in my life. I got this little cassette tape that I want them to play that's got like 3 songs on it. I'm gonna go through it really fast, and I get up there and I start rapping, and it was a matinee show and it was a nighttime show, and the earlier show probably was like. It was at the Henry J. Kaiser back before the Oakland Auditorium. And the early show was probably like 3,000-4,000. And it was like a lot of kids and stuff. And I kind of kept it clean and did a little different version of the show and rocked the crowd. And they were like, cool, cool. But the night show.
What were your songs about?
It was like Blowjob Betty, stuff like that.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
She licked my dick
up and down like it was going on the cob.
Shit like that. It was all dirty. It was all explicit.
And this is before you were. That's like a famous song.
I've never been in the studio in my life. Just only like in the room with some shit that looked like the shit y'all got.
But Blowjob Betty is truly. I mean,
it's a classic.
That's a true. You know, Athens has Socrates talking about shadows
Mike
on the wall.
Starberry.
Oakland has Blowjob Betty.
My buddy Mike wanted to ask you if you knew all of the curse words. Because that's his song, curse words.
Oh, curse words. Oh! I don't know if I know the whole song. Yeah, I don't know. I know
motherfucking shit, goddamn asshole.
That's right. Yeah.
Is that based on the Carlin bit, or you just like thought you had your own version of it?
No, I just wanted to say how many curse words could I say in a row?
Right. Well, and then you know what the lyric that always stuck out to me as a young man, and this was again in the early '80s, and I had Life Is Too Short on vinyl, but the song was she licked who was licking his dick up and down like it was corn on the cob was Nancy Reagan.
Yeah. No doubt.
Oh, is that true?
It was the straight up.
Oh, good for you, dog.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was.
Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I feel like if you said that about
Michelle Obama or something,
or even like Bush's wife, he'd probably get.
Oh yeah, you'd be in real trouble.
With Guantanamo Bay.
But that was like the Wild West back then.
But we were shocked. I mean, that was what was so great about it. We were like, oh shit, because my mom was deaf, so we would listen to your records with my mom sitting right there.
Why is that funny?
No, it is funny.
There's
nothing funnier
because moms are supposed to be able to hear.
We would be blaring. We would be blaring
Fucking
their
idiot's
music,
got a deaf
and my mom would be like, I like the bass in this song.
Oh man.
Hey, so that's what I was telling you, man. I jumped on stage in front of all these people. I sing these songs that I don't know what to expect. It's
Right.
like the lights are dark and the spotlight's on me, and it's probably like 7,000 people at the night show, and the entire crowd sang every song.
Who are you?
Word for word.
They already knew your shit.
Words, everything, and after that, it kind of like changed my whole life. The guy who slammed the door in our face was like calling, like, bring him back over.
How did they know your songs?
From all the tapes in the streets.
That's crazy,
Really?
man.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Was UTFO like who the fuck?
Every show I did, probably 85, 86, 87, up until around 88, every show I did, people were like, dude, who the fuck are you? Like I
would think so.
I've had Russell Simmons and Leo
Who are
and
you?
all these guys like, what the fuck was that you just did? Where did you come from and how do they know you? Like I did that a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
Was that feeling must have been exhilarating? Like, oh, I've jumped to some new level.
Well, the surprise look on the other act's face is better than rocking the crowd.
That's
Would
funny.
you be humble beforehand and just like, I'm just blessed to be with you, brother, and I want to just put on a good show?
Before and after.
Yeah,
That's
Before and
hilarious.
after. And I didn't talk a lot of shit. I didn't brag a lot, but I really got a kick out of looking at the list and seeing my name as like one of the earlier acts. I'm like, whoever goes on after me, that's all bad for you.
Oh, it's like that James Brown thing. We were just watching that. What was it?
The Tammy Show.
The Tammy Show. You ever see that performance of James Brown? And the Rolling Stones were in the wings, like sweating bullets. Like
They're
we
like,
can't
we
follow
can't
this.
follow this. He's killing.
I mean,
just
ridiculous.
fucking destroying. And he did lick my dick up and down.
Yeah, he sure did.
Lick my dick up and down.
And then when did you get? Were you on Arista, or am I making that up?
No, well, it was a connection between. I was on Jive.
Oh, that's what you were on. You were on
Jive's
yeah.
parent company was RCA when I signed.
Right.
But prior to that, it was Arista.
Okay.
So,
did you?
but
all
we're
right,
not
so
there
how
yet.
did, yeah,
right?
we're
So
not there
75 girls. Dean called you back.
Yeah, he took me up there, and I mean, he brought me into like a world where I look at it like I was 19 years old, and I hung around there for a couple of years, and it really felt like college to me. You know,
Right.
It's my first time going into a professional studio, working with professional
The
musicians.
dude had a studio in his house, or he had
we were going to different firms in San Francisco. They had it was the real deal, And,
How did you make the beats and stuff in the real studio?
He had all the equipment at his house, just like you would have your keyboards.
But
and
you
drum
had
machines.
like 808s and stuff, or
We didn't have an 808. Yeah, we had a Lindrum, which happened to be the best drum machine at that time. It was supposed to be so accurately sounding like a real drummer, but he had the best equipment. Like he had all that shit with the guitar pedals that changed the sound of the guitar, like shit.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted to be a rock star. This guy would sit around and hold a guitar and just like for a picture, like he didn't play. Like he surrounded himself by everybody who could make music. He's like, yeah, I'm the boss, and it was a real like cocaine environment where most of the musicians were like, they played with so and so, but they had like some kind of.
I would assume they all play with Sly Stone at some point.
Every
Like that's
single
got to
one
be
of
like the Oakland guy. Like I play with Sly.
People from Larry Graham, people from Rick James.
Yep,
was,
that's who I was going to get.
Tower Power or whatever.
Yep.
I was just like musicians. Like Oakland the Bay is a very musician oriented area to
Right.
this day. Got a lot of young musicians in the Bay right now, and back then, it was guitar players and drummers and keyboard players were around. So I kind of
Oakland, California.
I got schooled in the studio with real musicians who really
Right.
had gold records hanging at home and stuff. So
Right.
like one guy I used to be around us. He used to be in the Dramatics. He was one of them groups like that kick members out and add members like it's nothing. So he had a run with the Dramatics. They had huge hits
Right.
outside in the rain, all that stuff, and he was just like, man, my little flash went so fast. He was like, dude, whatever you do, enjoy it, have fun, be humble, because you get cocky and you get angry.
It feels like maybe you listen to him.
Yeah. I always remember to enjoy it because I see a lot of people. I pass it on too. I'm like, you running around here mad at everybody backstage and all this shit. Shit ain't right, but you need to just kick back and enjoy the career because you never know.
You've arguably had the longest career of anyone in hip hop history. I mean, for real, like in terms of relevance,
No, it is pretty. I mean,
It's fucking weird.
LL,
is what it is.
LL, but he doesn't really rap anymore.
Yeah.
Like Ice-T,
a lot
I
of people have
guess.
spanned it out, but what I like to say is that over the span of the 20 plus years that I've been doing it, it's been consistently. It's not been like anywhere like a 5 year, 7 year break, or because Dr. Dre was making records before me, and he doesn't really make records that fast.
Right.
Like I was putting out an album every 9, 10, 11 months, new album.
Yeah.
And what would you say your breakout album was? Life Is Too Short.
Yeah, because Born to Mack is the local album that we did after 75 Girls was over. I made an album called Born to Mack and kind of took all the elements of what I had learned selling tapes, being around 75 Girls. I learned how to manufacture and mix and master and do stuff and distribute the records. And we just took the game that we got from Dean and we applied it ourselves. And we started making a lot of money, and that's how Jive.
They make money the old-fashioned way.
That's how Jive got a hold of us.
Right.
They got wind of it. It was getting really big. We were selling a lot of copies up in Northern California.
And how much if you sell a record for $10, how much are you keeping?
Oh, we were 100%.
That's great.
Yeah, we had.
So when you signed with Jive, did you have you came to the table?
We had way more money than they gave us. Like we didn't really.
But did you say like you were able to get a favorable deal because you kind of didn't need them?
We got a shitty deal, and basically it was we just wanted national fame. We didn't know shit about contracts and shit. We probably could have stayed independent and been Tech 9 kind of Sir Mix-a-Lot kind of but I don't think it would have ever been the Too Short of today without that major label.
Well, right. That single in particular, Life Is Too Short, was like
that changed everything.
Airplay and
so I got the Jive. They picked up Born to Mack. They fucking put it out there. No posters, no video, no commercials, no ad, nothing. Just threw it out there. And what had already sold probably like 60,000 copies sold another 200. And in the music industry, to executives, they're thinking we work hard to push an album gold. And they just do a couple 100,000 copies after we push it a lot. This fucker just sold 200,000 without lifting a finger. Who is he?
Yeah, that's the theme of your early career is people saying, who are you, as you outsell them.
So I make the next album, Life Is Too Short. I say to myself, oh, shit, I got a national audience.
What's the cover of Life Is Too Short? Is it outside or it's a white?
I'm sitting in front of a tombstone.
Yeah.
And I say to myself.
I get it. Get it? Life's too short. He's in it.
That's great. You do get it. Good work.
Does everybody get it?
Are
we all on the same page on this, guys?
Was your name on the grave?
If you're driving, park
it says Sucker MC.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
If you're in a car, pull over and really think about the cover.
Life is too short.
Thank you. All right.
It's actually a great cover. It's like it's a pretty iconic cover.
No, that's why I'm saying that's
blue.
No, I remember.
I'm in a graveyard standing over a dead rapper's grave.
Yeah, who you ostensibly killed with your lyrics.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Listen, you know.
Wait. Park the car.
Park the car again.
So that single came out, and just that was it.
And the album drops. Life Is Too Short. I kind of, it's the sophomore thing where they're like, you're up to bat for the second time. What are you gonna do? You're gonna flop. And I just hit a home run. They put the album out, and 3 weeks after it came out, it had already sold probably like 300,000 copies. They still hadn't ran an ad. Still didn't have
video.
Yeah, and the song started taking off. They're like, I remember the conversation. They were like, dude, you got to shoot a video. And I'm like, no, I want to be an underground rapper. I don't want videos and stuff. And like, no, you got to do the video.
This is in 89, 90, 91?
This is like now 89 now, yeah.
All right.
88, 89, somewhere. And they talked me into it. They're like, dude, the record's huge. It's fucking huge. You got to do this shit. And we put out we shot the video, which basically was like everybody's first hip-hop video. You just get a camera and go around your hometown and get everybody
cameos. Everybody at the barbershop,
the uncles,
best car.
All that shit.
Best car, have him drive by 5 times.
And wins over the city. We do like that. I get a phone call one day from Easy E called. And he's like,
what?
Exactly. And he wants me to be the one of the supporting acts on his tour, which I got to slot that.
The solo tour? Or
Are you even serious
N.W.A straight out of Compton.
That's a good tour.
Straight out
that
of
is
Compton,
definitely a good tour.
So I was the act that got to go on right before N.W.A. And when I went on tour, the single had pushed the album to like gold. So I was out there like kind of popping my collar. I'm like, yeah, I'm a gold artist, and I got a gold plaque. I was feeling like somebody. And we got on tour. We did all these cities for like 3 months. And by the time we got to the end of the tour, I had sold 800,000 copies. And there was a rumor out that I got murdered
Now you know you've blown up. When you get murdered fictitiously.
I got murdered. They had a couple of little ceremonies for me. It was different stories. I OD'd in the crack house. I got shot in the head. It was just accident.
How did you find out that you'd been murdered?
My mother.
Your mom? Oh, that's terrible.
She really called and said, "Are you alive?"
And you were like, "No, Mom, I'm not."
How was the N.W.A tour? Because that was the first. I mean, that wasn't the first hip hop arena tour. The Run DMC was.
It could have been called the Horror Tour. We were rock stars. We just were fucking whores. That's all we did.
Did you outshine N.W.A?
I did.
Did you really? Heard it here first, folks.
I heard it here first.
I did by a long shot.
Why? They just didn't have a show together?
No, not outshine them on the stage.
That's what I
meant. Great
meant.
show. No, I outshined them at the after parties getting the bitches.
Look, no one. Look, Short. No one's questioning.
We wouldn't have even asked you about that.
Short,
we thought that was obvious.
Yeah, we
Short.
knew that.
Yeah.
It's like fucking. Come on.
You know what though? In defense of Eazy-E, he did get the most girls, no doubt about it.
Oh, okay.
And good thing that didn't bite him in the ass at the end.
Okay, stop it.
Now look.
I wanted to go there, but I decided
no, you
not
have
to.
Oh,
brother.
He had fun doing it.
That was what I wanted to ask you about.
What kind of venues were you doing?
Arenas.
Jesus.
What was the separation between Shorty the pimp, the character, and
State?
And what's that?
Nothing.
And you, the man.
And
like,
church
I mean,
and state.
how much of that the pimping and the girls? How much of it is real and how much of it is
Too Short's my character, man. It's like that's why I put like humor in it. It gets foul at times, but it makes you laugh. It has a lot of stories and stuff, and it's really like a character that I look back and wonder, why the fuck was I not writing books at the same time? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I should have been doing cheesy ass movies and all kind of shit. I just wasn't. I was such a music man that I couldn't think to do that at the time. But it's just a character I made, and I never really like did interviews and tried to be in character during the interviews. You know, like Shock G do Humpty Hump or something.
Sure, yeah.
I never did that, and I kind of just would always say, "Well, yeah, I'm Todd. Like, name's Todd Shaw. just a rapper wrote stuff and just keep it real." But in real life, though, I did have my share of days of like exercising my Playboy status. I did go there.
Yeah, well, let's go there. Well,
I would like to say,
we want to hear some stories, man.
I've heard the great Dave Chappelle said that he saw you at one of his shows with his words, one of the baddest bitches I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, I mean, look, let's
his words, not mine.
His words.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. You want to go?
Yeah,
you wanna,
please. I mean, how much? You have some. What's the freakiest thing that you've ever done?
It's like this. Too Short.
Let's just say that Short did bring a nice young lady with him, very beautiful.
Maybe
he does or does not want to tell these stories.
I would put her in the running for one of the baddest bitches I've ever seen.
I would not refer to her in such terms.
Shortlisting you.
I would say a young lady.
Why are you mad dogging me?
That's too short right now. So, but hey, yes, give us some good stories of the freaky tales, the real freaky tales.
Man, we got like a lot of errors of things that have happened in life, but I've been through a lot, man. I've been through a lot. I think it all started like there was this period of years I call the horror years, and I've actually had years and stretched where it weren't horror years, and then went back and had more horror years. So
I've done that.
yeah.
So the first horror years kind of started. It started on the N.W.A tour. The first night of the tour was Nashville, Tennessee, and there was a chick. Do not ask me why I remember her name, but her name was Mary, and she was like older than most of us guys who were on the tour. But she ended up on the bus, and somebody was like, "Show us your vagina, show us your pussy, show us," and she's showing.
I'll give you money if anyone said
vagina did not happen.
If anyone said vagina
that's one of my favorite words.
No. But
there's N.W.A is like, will you show me your
like,
vagina, please?
I've always used that word.
Yeah,
of course.
Okay, well then there you go.
I've always told girls, your vagina is amazing.
Yeah, well, it makes them feel respected. Am I right? Yeah.
Not while you're fucking. Ooh, some good vagina, no, but not,
no.
But as an artwork, it's like
Wait, but is every name in Freaky Tales based on a real person?
Some of it's based on stories. All the names are fake, though.
Have you ever had a woman come back to you and say, "Motherfucker, that was me. I know that was me."
There is one that was true, though. The TP treatment is true.
Well, how did that go?
That was the girl's initials, and she was like Superhead before Superhead.
Oh, yeah.
She was famous in Oakland.
She was the first Superhead?
Okay, so
wait, back to Mary.
Yeah, I got to get back to Mary.
Yeah, Mary,
This
please.
chick Mary jumps on the tour bus, shows everybody her vagina.
Yeah. It wasn't even a pussy back then. That's how long ago it was.
It was a long time ago.
And then she commences to start knocking them down one by one. You know, it's the same rock story, but she kind of set the tempo. We drive the tour bus back to the
What
hotel.
part of the bus are you in? You're in the front area?
The very front.
And it's Eazy-E.
No, it's just
Rosa Parks.
Everybody had their own bus.
All right,
He was
so
in
this
his
your
bus. She was in
It was my bus.
Oh, you had your own bus? Good for you,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
It was the short bus?
Hit the short bus.
Boom.
Yeah,
Thank you,
exactly.
folks. Thank you, folks.
No helmets.
Bang.
So we get back to the hotel, and everybody's like, I want her. Because it's the first night. We didn't really...
You didn't realize what feast you were going to be.
We didn't have group experience. We didn't know that there was like, you know, a rock star tour. So she pretty much went through all of the Too Short entourage, all of the N.W.A. entourage. Everybody the next day was high-fiving like, yeah. And that gave us the energy to know.
Who got first?
I actually went first.
Very good.
Good for you. Great.
By default, though, because my boy was the one who was manipulating her, and I was just smart enough to go, okay, I'm watching him. He got her, like, leading her to the room, and I'm watching, and right when they open the door, I run in and close the door. We opened the curtains and made everybody watch.
Poor Mary.
Like, let us in.
Mary's working her way down on like a little
I will never forget because I kind of went on about my business and heard about the folklore of what happened the rest of that night. But I do remember the next morning going to my cousin's room who was on tour with us, and she was in the room taking a bath. And he was taking a bath with her.
Oh, that's so romantic.
That's
He's like,
hilarious.
tell me about all my homies that you fucked.
No,
tonight.
you know what's hilarious is your cousin probably didn't know. He probably
thought he was the only one.
He thought he was like, I'm romantic. I might fuck around.
I'm a wife, Mary.
I'm gonna wife this bitch up. And meanwhile, she's got like fucking Eazy-E stain on her dress.
That was like feeding, you know, blood to like a shark or
to
something.
N.W.A. As it were.
To all of us. So whatever the next city was, it probably was Memphis. We had the appetite. We're like, you know, Eazy-E implemented this part of his show where he breaks it down. There's no music playing. He's like, yeah, because I'm something back at the Holiday Inn, and he would say his fucking room number,
and people would just show up.
I used to call it the pussy supermarket. That's why I kind of bring that back every now and then.
That's funny.
But that's what it was like.
Okay,
here's a question.
Didn't
call it the vagina supermarket?
The hotel lobby.
Do you have more pride in vagina you got before you were famous or vagina you got because you were famous?
Definitely because, not before.
Okay. I mean, you were 14.
Before was like practice.
Right.
I was just, you know, working it out. But I had some hot chicks before, but it was before. Like, you get a hot chick before, and that's like your girlfriend. You're going to be with her for like a long time.
Yeah.
That's like your girlfriend. You're not going to get her.
Yeah, that's funny when you realize the age where you realize, like, oh, you don't have to date a hot girl. You can just fuck her once. I didn't. It took me. I was like
lavish in my life, nigga.
I was like in my 30s before I realized, like, wait a minute. If a girl's fine, doesn't mean I have to just date her forever. Moshe's giving me his white liberal look right now.
Oh no, I've had sex with many women. I mean, I get it. I just, you know, I pretend that I'm evolved. That's what I do.
Exactly.
So, was there anything scary? And what's the scariest shit that ever happened to you on tour, did anything ever really freak you out?
A lot of weird stuff happened. I remember one night I was always kind of slick with my money and just how to like not be, you know, predictable in what I'm doing because we deal with a lot of cash sometimes. So I would, it was wild nights, and I would always get this extra room. The extra room was for two things. One, it was a safe haven if things had kind of got too popular in the other rooms where we're at. So I would have all this room and always be on a different floor and away from the crowd. I specifically requested that from the road manager. The room was for the stash. And we would have this safe that we travel with that we full of like checks and cash that we, you know, because we convert.
And who has the combo? You and the tour manager?
It'd probably be me and maybe one of my other boys who I trusted. And you know, one particular night we just go to check on the stash. We've been wilding out all night. We go to just check on it, just check on the room. And the fucking door is open. And it's this chick in the room.
It's Mary.
Mary taking a bath again.
She's sucking the safe's dick.
The chick's in the room. Serious as fuck. She's in the room. She got a white dress on. She's nowhere near the money, but she's stealing shit. And she's got some shit in her hand. She's about to like take some items and leave. And we're like busted. And then she's like, oh my God, I was trying to talk her way out of it. Like,
it sounds like the beginning of a porno.
It is.
You look like a cute guy.
You had to get
it. That's the thing. That's the down. A lot of these stories, I try not to see dicks.
Well, I learned my lesson. I had a pretty girlfriend. It was so traumatizing. I remember I was in Dallas, Texas.
You called her, baby, I miss you so much.
Look what this girl was stealing. We had to do something about it.
So she was real hot and she got really drunk. And then my guys are like real rough. They're like really fucking rough. I'm supposed.
It was my turn.
I'm supposed to be the one that's like that appears to be like that.
Yeah.
But I'm more like sensitive to the chicks, how they feel and making sure they're okay.
Well, you're the one that's going to get sued, so that's smart.
So my boy is like, man, your bitch want to fuck all of us. And I'm like, no, she don't. He's like, watch. And he's like, messing with her. She's drunk. She's like, oh, yeah. I was like, okay, fuck it, let's go fuck her. So I take one of my buddies, and I'm like, I'm going first. so I go first. And I'm being easy. I'm doing it, blah, blah, blah. So I let him get in there, and I'm getting head while he's fucking her. And he like tries to go Superman dingo hard, and I swear
that's how I fuck. That's how we fuck, right? With dingo hard.
She bit my dick so hard. It just kind of just fucked me out of the whole situation. I can't. There's no way you can get head while he's fucking like that. He's a wild man. He's loving to have my pretty girl. So I just tap out of it and I just kick back and just watch him just like have the fucking of his lifetime. And I'm like, okay, this is what we won't be doing in the future.
With your girlfriend or with the safe girl?
No, she was just a fun girl.
Another
still,
girl. This is a new girl. We've now introduced.
Did it ever feel like? Are you like a religious guy at all? Did you grow up religious?
Yeah. I went to Catholic school.
Okay. Did you ever? So you must have been like, because I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I don't have anything like that, and there's points where I'm like, this is too much. Like you must have been like, what? I'm never with that. All right? I'm never coming back from this morally.
Yeah, I left on that tour. It was whatever day of week it was, a Thursday night, whatever it was. My girlfriend went to the airport with me. I was like, kissed her, said I love you. I'll call you later. Never talked to her again.
To start the N.W.A. tour.
Oh, you mean you jumped into the pool of moral perversions?
I never talked to her again.
Interesting.
And she used to page me. I paged her all day and night, just guilt trip. I was like, it was just torture. That's how
you just wouldn't hit her back.
It was my girlfriend. We had been together like 2 years. Like, what could I say? I've been slutting around for the last week. That's why I didn't call you. I just tapped out.
What are your thoughts on love now?
If you got it, good luck. You know what I mean?
Do you believe in it for yourself?
I believe in it. I believe I've been in it, but I don't believe in chasing it.
You got Neal stuck.
No, I love the idea that you never called her. I fucking love. I'm like hung up on.
Well, I get it though because you.
No,
had this
I get it too.
This sweet innocent thing, and then you went into the dirty underbottom of.
You were literally. You weren't proverbially on tour with N.W.A. You were on tour with N.W.A.
Yeah,
we've all done that fade out thing. You just kind of
no. But I've never not called a girl again. I've never gone like I'm going a girlfriend of 2 years.
Oh, and just that's pretty intense.
All right, baby. And then you just that's
well, you know what? We've got a surprise for you, Too Short. She's one of our listeners.
Come on
Let's bring her on.
Okay, so
that's a cold ass honky.
So do you
she's still kind of mad at me about that too.
Oh, you have found her?
Yeah, I mean we're kind of friends. We got over it, but she's still like. Fucking shit you did.
She has a great point.
So you come back from tour from N.W.A. and now what's next? Shorty the Pimp? Is that the next album?
Short Dogs in the House.
Short Dogs in the House, right?
And then Ice Cube quit N.W.A. and did a solo album with the producers of
the Bomb Squad.
Public Enemy. Yeah. And then he went on a tour and I went out with him because on the N.W.A. tour, Ice Cube was pretty much my closest homie on the tour, and I was kind of like in his support, like supporting him. And he was like, "What should I do?" I'm like, "Dude, you got a Suzuki Samurai." I got a Mercedes Benz. I got the Benz off tour because I only had to pay me.
Right.
You got the Suzuki because you had to split the money 5 ways. What are you gonna do?
So you're the one who did it. You're the one who broke into it.
No. He was mad because they came back and bought houses and they bought new Corvettes and stuff.
Right.
And then him and MC Ren didn't get anything.
N.W.A.
But wasn't what's that?
Niggas without houses.
Oh, very good.
Thank you, the comedy team of Too Short and Douggpound. Fantastic.
But he was doing most of the writing for N.W.A. anyway,
He
right?
probably wrote most of Eazy-E's words.
Yeah.
And Dre didn't write either, so.
Right. So you get back and Short Dogs in the House is probably like that's got so many classics on it. That is such a great album.
I had more fun on that tour than on the N.W.A. tour.
Uh-huh.
Because now we're like seasoned veterans. We're still in the horror season, but we know how to do it now.
And at this point,
What kind of venues?
Same thing, arenas. It was some of the same venues.
You and Q were doing arenas?
Yeah, we did it.
Jesus Christ.
In those days, how
we
would
both had platinum albums.
And was it co-headlining?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good money.
So some nights he going last, some nights I going
that's
last.
very good
We had a
money.
hot song out together at the time. It's called "Bitch Ain't Nothing But a Word." It was a big deal.
Sure.
and then that was around the time. Was that around the time when you formed the
You know who
Dangerous Group?
you know who my opening act was? We had a deal. You bring one act, I bring one act. He brought Yo-Yo.
Yep.
I brought Kid Rock.
Really?
That was my opening.
Kid Rock
act.
used to sell tapes out of his car, right?
Yeah, I mean, I produced some songs on his first album. Like we were both on Jive.
It's like 92 or something.
This was 91, 92. Yeah, 91.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So would he do all right?
Yeah. How did he do?
He was doing good. He had a hype man. His hype man was called the Black Man, and they jump around, do some stuff. And he had the moose high top fade.
Did he have
Yeah,
that
if
little
you're-
guy with him?
The little guy wasn't around yet.
Yeah, man. If you're Kid Rock, if you're a white dude opening for Too Short and Ice Cube, you have to have a black hype man. Just
You gotta have something.
Yeah, literally
Name
don't show up.
the Black Man.
Yeah, the black. You don't even need to further.
Yeah, he can't
No, he's the
have
black
a-
man, and he says
You're
I'm
doing
good.
the black
If you have any
guy
problems, you can speak to the
Talk
black
to
man.
the black man.
because I'm a black guy,
If you
right?
would like to approach the stage, black man will hear all of your queries.
So you started to formulate Dangerous Crew around then too, right?
Yeah, the Dangerous Crew. We started on Freaky Tales when we got to deal with Jive.
Right.
That was all Dangerous Music, Dangerous Crew.
And who was it? Ant Banks and who?
Well, at first the Dangerous Crew was just me.
You were the Dangerous Crew. It was you, and it was Ant Banks. It was Spice One, right?
Yep, it was. I had a rapper named Goldie, another guy,
Oh, right.
Father Dom.
Goldie in the Land of Funk, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Father
He
Dom.
had a pretty good album.
I will say that you and E40, and we're going to get into your album with E40, which is super exciting. You guys did an album together. But you and E40 are known as the guys that put the Bay on the map. But Spice One is, I think, the best less known MC out of the Bay. I mean, he's so damn good, and people don't really know who he is.
I hear
anymore.
people talk about him.
Well, he just had like the game of life is a chess game. You know, he just kind of made a couple of wrong moves. Like he came in the game with like people attached to him.
Uh-huh.
Like he didn't get that little lucky lesson I got from Dean and 75 Girls and got to walk away clean. The people who dealt with him at first
Owned everything in the future.
Yeah. He never got out of that. Like they kind of like it kept like wherever it went to next. He had to pay the last people, and it just when he was selling big units, the money wasn't going out of him.
Would you agree? I mean, is that of the guys that you've worked with over the years who didn't blow up super big? Who do you think is the best MC
That didn't blow up.
that didn't blow up?
I think Spice One blew up. He had a good career.
He did, yeah. Especially in the Bay, he was big. I mean, he had some great. Spice One's really good. For the listeners, check him out. 187 Proof is great. And
Do you consider yourself a great rapper?
Nah, not really. I just think I think mine is it's the punchlines, and some of them are funny, and some of them just make you go ooh a little bit. And I know good music, how to mix and master, and how to my main trick was the 808, and I knew how to make the bass go just barely enough for you to fuck your speakers up. Just you better be careful when you're playing some Too Short. That was my thing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So
tell me something I don't know. I want to hear that.
Remember MC Breed?
Sure, yeah.
There was a guy named Leroy who hooked up MC Breed, and the deal went bad. And Breed would rest in peace, MC Breed. He would say that Leroy kind of fucked over him. And then this chick, Georgette, who first put Spice One out, Spice One would be like, "Man, Georgette fucked me over." Georgette and Leroy got married. That's funny. And fucked over a lot of other artists.
And their vows were like, we do vow to fuck over all of the gangster rappers to
see
come
you
forever until death do us part.
Do you promise to hate, fuck over, and love this bitch? Okay, let's go. As a guy who's been, what's like the 10 rap commandments? Like, what were things that because you seem to be analytical enough to know, like, that's where you fucked up. That's where you fucked up. That's where you fucked up.
Well, it's a rules in the industry that don't really necessarily have to go hip hop, but hip hop is definitely like on the come up. You gotta like it's like a small town or something. Everything you say will be held against you. Like you can't hide from what you do. So hip hop makes you stand up on everything. That's why we're so hell bent on, is he real? Is he fake? Is he real? Is he fake? You gotta even if you're making up some fake shit, like this chick walked up to me once and said, she said, man, I love you, I love you. She was a prostitute. She's like, oh, I love you, such and this and that. And then she was saying some crazy shit, and I'm like, well, I just rap about pimping that I really don't have any hoes. And she's like, what? She was like, you see that nigga over there? That's my pimp. He's a real pimp. Then she started talking all loud. She started talking shit. Ain't no real pimp.
Well, hip hop is strangely obsessed with the people being real. So I just say in this industry, just lay it on the table. They had the controversy, Rick Ross with the are you a correctional officer or whatever. Right. I mean, whatever it was, if it was me, I would have just stepped up and said, yeah, I was. No, I wasn't. Whatever. That's just how you get past all the BS in the the scrutiny of hip hop. And I think if you really want to know the real shit, like it's not really like really relevant right now, but it always was like you got to be original. That's kind of went out the window right now because you can mimic somebody's voice and the same subject and damn near the same beat, and you get a hit too, and everybody like you and not notice it, not even care that you were a carbon copy. But that was always a good thing in hip hop, was originality. Always a good thing. Can we ask you about beef that you may or may not have had in the past? I haven't had a lot of enemies, but I mean, the one that only got publicized was probably like the Loonies. The Loonies and Drew Down, yeah. Yeah. But the beefs that we had that weren't publicized, because like we come with that Oakland swag, and it's like, if we catch wind of like you want to have a beef, then we send over a message like, this is not going to be a rap battle, right? Right. It's going to be horrible. So that we just leave it at that, and we just like, and really there have been some beefs that we were involved in, but that nobody really. Thank God I was not famous in my young days during social media. Oh yeah, right. I wouldn't be here right now. Right, because everybody's just talking shit about everybody now, right? I mean, just the shit that happened. If social media would have got a hold of it. Get up off Twitter. Did you mean it when you retired the first time, or was that just trying to sell more records the next? No, that was just a play on the numbers, man. I just turned 30. It was the 10th album. It was something that when I looked at the numbers, I was like, 30-year-old rapper, hot album, 10th album. Like, it just sounded
What year was that? Was like 97?
96. Yeah. And it sounded like a good. We really were renegotiating the contract. It was the last album on the contract. If I could have that whole moment back, I would never re-sign to Jive Records. Like, I really would. That was a
why did you would have gone independently?
Because right after that, they signed Britney, NSYNC, Backstreet.
Oh, right.
They were like, hey, hip hop.
Yeah.
You.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right, let's go through some rappers, and you tell us what you think of them. We'll start with Tupac.
Tupac was really he was really everything that he portrayed himself to be. At times he was like this quiet kind of dude who would only talk about intellectual stuff. Other times he was like party with a glass of Hennessy, a Newport cigarette, and a blunt burning at the same time, and just women around. And then other times he thought he was like a fucking gangbanger or something, and just whatever. He was a poet. He was all this stuff. But if you were around long enough, I didn't hang around Tupac a lot, but I've been around him a lot. And
right.
A lot of the guys who work with me, Pee Wee, Shorty B, keyboard guitar players, they also played with Digital Underground. So that's who would always bring Pac around my career.
Right.
And he was just he was that kind of guy, man. You kind of would look at him and go, this dude's about to get into some shit. Like, you just knew it.
He had a shootout with the cops. Well, that's fucking crazy. He had a shootout with the cops.
That he won.
He won? He won.
He shot
off
both
to the cops.
And he won the case. It was self-defense.
Yeah, it's like he was crazy.
Yeah, pretty
fucking crazy.
Who else you got?
Ice Cube.
Oh,
Ice Cube is like, to me, I always look back on Cube. He was always like real serious about his craft. Like, even to this day, I understand why he's so successful, is because he's dedicated to, like, I'm going to make this, what I'm working on, really good.
Right.
And I remember Cube telling me that he left. The tour had like a break, the first N.W.A tour, and he left to go to Hawaii with his girlfriend. And when he came back, he had all these pictures. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'm about to marry her. She the one. She the one." and that's his wife right now.
Oh,
to
really?
This day.
Oh, that's
like,
funny.
Like he's that kind of guy. Like he was when he said that and he looked at me, he showed me that picture. He was like, "Dude, I love her. I am marrying her." And he meant it. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of guy he is.
How about Snoop?
Snoop Dogg. Well, everybody knows he smokes weed 24 hours a day.
He does smoke a lot of weed.
And you would think that is that a prop, but it's a reality. Like I've seen Snoop. Actually, we were smoking, and I'm like, I tap out.
Yeah.
I hit a few, and I'm like, I don't do that all day smoking, so I tap out, and they just keep them burning. I saw Snoop one day.
Is that way he didn't turn into a lion?
He looked around and said, he said, "Hey man, what a blunt? Who the fuck let the blunts burn out?" The guy who was rolling blunts must have got tired.
Oh, he needed it constantly being rolled the whole time.
And
He's got a personal blunt roller at all times.
The thing about Snoop is I read somewhere he's got a really high IQ.
Oh yeah,
which totally makes sense.
He functions on weed.
Yeah, I mean he's highly functional.
Hey, what about this? I had a buddy who makes beats. He's from Dallas, Texas, and he makes really hot beats. He could rap, sing, all this stuff. So I used to bring him around Snoop's studio, and Snoop, his name was Black, and Snoop was like, "Black, roll a blunt." So Black roll a blunt, we just kicking. He like, man, Black, and he talking to you like, Black like, man, Snoop my homie. Like, Black roll another blunt. And then one day we weren't around Snoop, and Black was like, man, Snoop love me. I was like, man, Snoop just wants you to roll his blunt. you don't even get it.
Yeah.
You roll really good blunts.
Yeah. He loves your blunts, Black. I'm sorry. He loves your blunts. Oh, well, what about, and this will bring us into talking about what you're here to talk about a little bit. What E40, what do you think of him?
E40 is the other half of the Bay,
on the deadly streets of Oakland.
We pretty much did this side by side. But the one thing people don't know about me and E40 is that we compete from day one.
Uh-huh.
We see it as a competition, but we talk to each other every week. And all the years that we were on Jive together, we would say, "When's your album coming out? What's your next single gonna be? Let me hear it." And he was like, "Dude, I got some hot shit I just made." Like, oh, this, we kind of be bragging, and it would, when I hear it, because our albums would never come out around the same time. So when I hear his shit, and then all the streets like, 40, the hottest shit, 40, I'm like, oh shit, now I gotta go back.
So you would have to step your game up.
I gotta do it again. And basically, that's how we chastise each other our whole careers, and we started making songs together. It was years before we made songs together, but we had been buddies since E40 was a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
I've been knowing him since they were just starting to sell records. Us Oakland dudes used to go to Vallejo and hang out with the Vallejo dudes all the time, and the Vallejo dudes would come to Oakland and hang out with us. It was like a thing we did. So I've been on E40 a long time, and the fact that I've always had him there to motivate me by making hot records and just like one-upping me every time, it kind of, I needed that.
And so now you guys just put an album out together, which is like the wet dream to the entire East Bay. I mean, that's just like...
It's it might not, in these days and times, it might not be the biggest seller, but it's definitely, if you put your ear on it, it's definitely a good work, a very good work. There it is.
Where's more hate than love? When clients flat on they blood, turn on their flesh and blood. Do them dirty just like a rug.
Money, man.
Looks him up. Vendettas and grudge. 5.56s and 50 caliber slugs. Half of these bitches that get you killed at the club. You die for push-ups, or you can pay me in bud. Want some booger sugar? Bet I get it off. I'm a thug. She got a big.
I can see how people like E40's flow. I can see how
E40?
like people. I can see how like he's funny.
As
like,
a kid,
He's funny.
I just listened to it for 15
funny,
seconds. I'm like, that dude's
he's
funny.
he's technically unique. Nobody does what he does. And I remember as a kid in the Bay, people started talking about 40 because we were all already listening to you, and everybody said, "There's this fucking rapper that raps off the beat like it had never been heard of before."
Super fast sometimes.
What's the name of the album for everybody listening?
The album is called History, and it's actually 2 albums. One's called Function Music, one's called Mob Music. History.
And you guys are out here trying to function, is that right?
That's not on that album, but we are trying to function.
Well, we are, and we're also trying to function.
Can we circle back around for more rappers?
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes is my cousin's baby daddy. No,
Really?
Oh, for real?
For real. But he hates to hear that. But
Is he a deadbeat daddy?
I don't think so, but I think he's got like a couple of baby mamas he don't like too much. I'm not sure. I know he don't like my cousin.
Do you have kids?
No.
How'd you
get through all them horror years?
How many abortions have you paid for?
Hold on a second.
I mean, what the hell? You must have an abortion allowance.
He's like Mario
You must
Joyner.
have
He just
the
wears
Too
the
Short
condom.
Abortion Academy.
I'm a professional skeeter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because I'm a black guy, right?
That's crazy.
All the guys with all the kids, they kind of just let their shoulders slump and they go, ugh, and they just fall in it.
Oh, yeah, when your toes curl.
That's what I always think is like, why are you finishing in these people? Like, why? What are you doing? How much better does it feel? Like, how? I mean, it feels better, sure, but it doesn't feel that much better.
Right, that's crazy.
Weird not having
It ain't night and day. It's like night and dusk.
I like to jump out and be a star.
Oh, you put your arms up like Superman? Like Jesus Christ.
All right.
Who'd you just say Busta Rhymes? No, Busta Rhymes to me is he's one of those guys who
Bust a nut.
he's one of those guys, man. He's a tourist bull like me. He's like a nonstop worker. He when he first got his shine, same as me, he made about 5 albums. You couldn't even distinguish the first one from the fifth one. They came so quick, And it's like he made hits, and he's like right now today. I mean, Busta just jumped on the awards not too long ago and just ripped the whole album.
The Chris Brown thing, yeah,
he's just huge. Whatever he does,
yeah.
He's also physically huge at this point.
Him and Dr. Dre,
they are
buff.
gigantic.
Well, what do you think of Dre?
He's buff.
Well, no, yeah, but I'm saying, like, what do you think of?
Why are they getting so swole?
What do you think of his MO?
I think Dr. Dre is like more than Too Short, more than E40, more than Snoop Dogg. I think he just is that pillar, that foundation of West Coast hip hop. Just because you could get somebody like me to say, I used to be bumping Dre before I ever made a record. I used to bump the Dr. Dre records, the World Class Wrecking Crew. Like, he was there, and he was major then. He was never been anything under major.
Are those World Class Wrecking Crew records any good?
They were big back in the day,
and they sound good.
They were like electro. They're like dance music.
Right, but that's what I mean. Like, and they sound like you can listen to them?
For the
for breakdancing.
Like for breakdancing and shit?
So, they were popular. Those guys did shows, and they were DJs. They would come and do these shows.
I've seen the pictures. I've never listened to it.
Yeah, they would do these incredible DJ tricks and stuff, and the show would come, and you'd have dancers, you'd have DJs, you'd have rappers, and then the LA guys would go around and be Uncle Jam's Army and all that stuff. It was
you don't. I'm assuming you don't begrudge the headphones. You do. I'm sure you're just like, good for you.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm from the Bay. The company that made them was Monster Cable. That's they do a lot.
I think
for
there
us.
should be a champs like smoking game where like you take a hit off your blunt every time someone talks about the Bay.
You've been smoking a lot. Well, let's talk about some younger guys then. Who are the guys that you're really into right now?
Well, I'm really feeling the new school because there's a new group that kind of like they all just changed the norm and came out the box and just kind of just made hits that are different. I feel like Kanye is to me he's the leader of that kind of new school renaissance. Let's get off the regular.
I thought
shit.
Busta Rhymes was the leader of the new school.
Yeah.
Boom,
bang, bang.
But he balances rapping about really socially conscious stuff, but also being an ignorant bling bling kind of person, and it fits. And going to like the Lupes, the Kendrick Lamar's,
I feel like Kendrick is the dude that everybody's like, that's the next guy.
Well, he's the vibe that crosses over. It kind of resonates through all nationalities,
Do you like Lil B? Do you know Lil B?
I signed Lil B. I discovered them. The Pack, when they were the Pack.
Right, the Pack. Yeah. And actually, the Pack, there was a kid named, do you know Stroy Moyd is? Do you know that? He's a comedian in Oakland. And him and one of the dudes from the Pack used to come to comedy open mics. Before they were decided that dude wanted to be a rapper, it would be him and Stroy, and they would come fuck up open mics because they were like 15-year-old like junior high school students. They would come in, they would get open mics shut down, and then dude went on to be one of the guys in the Pack. I can't remember the guy's name, and then the other dude Stroy is a comic in the Bay. It was very funny. So yeah, what about people from Oakland? Is there anybody? The Pack, obviously.
Well, the guys in Oakland right now, the guys from the Bay who are really hot right now, some cats out of Richmond, with all the song "I Beat the Pussy Up," all those.
Oh yeah,
that shit. Yeah, they're hot.
What do you think of the White Girl Mob? You care about them?
Well, I'm cheering for the White Girl Mob because they came out with the hot song, the Krayshawn song. They got the hundreds of thousands of followers on the social media, but they haven't really, the follow up, and I'm hoping that movement maintains, because that's a good thing.
Are you of the mind that you've got to have a little like street pop before you can? I guess everybody in hip hop does have like a street pop, and then you take the street pop, and then you sort of get a major.
Kreayshawn had her
thing.
little, you didn't hear her street
For sure.
songs?
Yeah, no, well, that's what I mean. But
Real?
that's you did that you did it almost first. It sounds like.
Well, you don't have to do that route. I mean, like take a guy like Lil Bow Wow. We was talking about Lil Bow Wow. He
grew up rich, right?
Yeah. Well, he didn't grow up rich.
Wait, is that?
He came up under,
Little Bow Wow was a good rapper when he was 4. He was on Arsenio. He was
exactly.
fucking
He came
good.
up under.
Which one is Master P's son?
That's Little Romeo.
A little There's many Lils out there.
Yeah.
Sorry. I get my Lils.
Yeah, he came up rich.
He grew up like a rich man. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So
what about V Nasty using the N-word? What are your feelings on that?
Well, in the Bay, we have this.
Take a hit.
We have this certain crew that's colorblind, and we have this. I don't care. Like I got a homeboy. His name is Black, and he will hit all of you off in a minute with several N-words in your face, and he don't care if you white, Chinese, or Middle Eastern.
Well,
you will be his N all day.
Well, that's what I always say, that the thing about Oakland and the Bay in general is that black is the coolest. Like it's like the kind of the like in the high school movie, the Letterman, the football quarterback.
Right.
When I was growing up in Oakland, the coolest kid were like the black dudes they were at the top of the social
There's
hierarchy.
a real nigga.
And so that's why all the white kids in the Bay wanted to be black, and that's why people like B Nasty exist, basically.
As a guy I know, he's not from the Bay, but I know a few people in the Bay like this. There's a guy I know, his name is Funky White. Mm-hmm. Kind of self-explanatory, right?
Yes.
But he N-words all day, but it's just, I mean, if you're from that, it's not a problem.
Right.
If I've been seeing
that's my nigga.
Little,
He's awesome.
that's just what's fun.
Rappers Eminem. Speaking of crackers,
Eminem, I feel like is the I feel like he's like the best ink pen that we've seen. Not because of race or anything. I just feel like the words that he uses to rhyme, and just the way he lines them up, not even necessarily the way he flows them, but just that selection of words. I guess I'm like big up in his vocabulary or some shit.
Yeah.
It ain't even like a super special vocabulary. It's just that
his brain is.
He seems to say words that nobody else will say in that order.
Yeah, and it's complexity of rhyme too.
Guess who's back? So I like what he added to hip hop, because he gave birth to a whole slew of MCs that kind of, you can tell, like, Eminem.
What about Riff Raff?
Riff Raff made what song? Because I know the name.
Nobody knows.
No, I don't even know.
No, he was on.
That says all it needs to say.
Hit that what button? What?
Who's your favorite rapper of all time? Do you know? Can you answer that?
My favorite rapper of all time. I couldn't even give you a favorite artist or a favorite song. Like, it's just,
name some of your music. Name some of your favorites, your favorite rappers.
In the early days, it would have been Spoonie G. Next up, I would have, I went through a whole Run DMC phase of like nobody could touch Run DMC. Those 3-4 albums they had that were like flawless. I've been who's like some of my favorite rappers. One of my favorite rappers in the young days when Dre had that whole crew. I always liked what Daz and Corrupt used to do.
Yeah, they were great together.
They really, they did something different. Like, to just be on the West Coast, it was like that mixture of Corrupt coming from Philly and Daz being at Long Beach. It was just amazing.
Yeah, no, they did something special together.
A lot of rappers, man. I like you know who my favorite new rapper is right now though? Big Sean. He just kind of.
Big Sean's good, man.
He just kind of, every song he gets on, he enhances his part of the song. Sounds good all the time.
Yeah, he's got like a rich presence or something. Yeah, because he's not really saying anything.
You just get the feeling he's gonna be around a while.
Yeah, totally.
Affiliated with Kanye.
Are you good at picking who will be around? Like, not gonna last, will last, won't. Are you any good at that?
It's hard to tell, because you could be a really good artist, and your fucked up thing about you could be the way you act when you're not working.
Right.
And that could be the reason why you're not there anymore. When you wonder what happened to so and so, maybe he went up to the label and called the president a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Just
I realized something about work recently, like in the last week and a half.
Don't threaten your boss. What?
But like, it's theater.
Yeah, you
it's
have to
theater.
perform.
You're doing it's social theater. It's like yes, it's like kabuki. You're just constantly like and I would always be like, no, I want to be real. And it's like, no, don't be real.
Yeah,
be fucking.
I used to tell the guys in the pack they had this hot song. Got my Vans on, but they look like sneakers. They got all this play, all this travel. They're fresh out of high school. The world is theirs. They get on tour and they're literally in the lobby beating the shit out of each other in front of the label execs, the label representatives. And the label's calling back going, I can't control these guys. What do we do? Give them a call like, dude, y'all got to calm the fuck down, man. Next day, oh, my God. They said that one of them's back there talking. He says he sells crack and he kills people. Like, dude, could you guys quit scaring the fucking label people?
You guys said Mary over there.
Yeah, you should have said Mary.
Give him that new room massage.
Give him a nap.
71
take a
years
bath
old.
with him.
I gotta take a leak.
Okay. Well,
I tell the guys, I'm like, dude, you don't have to like each other to work together.
Yeah,
that goes for you guys too.
Oh yeah, well,
no, we're
so
way
far
ahead.
so good. We're
none of us like each other.
Yeah, we're already
way ahead of
hating each other. Well, let's wrap it up. But do you want the most recent kind of controversy? Are you interested in talking about that? The XXL.
Oh yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So Short put out. You talk about yourself.
I'm gonna revert to you for a hot minute. Can you relate? This is like, I'm gonna take you through the whole little issue and we can wrap this up. Can you relate to? Because some guys weren't getting it, but do you remember you went to Catholic school?
Yep.
Do you remember to smell my finger?
Yep.
Okay, that's where it started.
I smelled that finger.
So we were sitting in this room. I just did this like hour interview with XXL, and we're wrapping up the stuff. And the guy goes, "Hey, we do this little thing on our website where we it's like fatherly advice and like some comedy stuff, and like say something funny, like what would be Too Short's fatherly advice?"
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, just telling the story about like, you're gonna get the little girl, you're gonna get her somewhere, she's your little girlfriend, and you I'm telling like my little son, I'm giving him the pep talk like how he gets it, and they put the shit up. I'm figuring it. I'm just making it.
You don't even know what you're saying in the moment. You're just kind of being.
But I'm thinking this goes with some comedy stuff. I'm trying to give the smell my finger angle, and they put the shit up on a website and said Too Short's fatherly advice, and it's like, yeah, this is how you get pussy. And I'm
Say what?
And my phone starts ringing. They're like, "Oh my God, you're on the internet telling kids how to get pussy," and I'm like, "I'm what?" And they didn't run the interview that they did with me. They didn't run anything. They grabbed that. They put that shit up like 2 weeks later, like immediately. And I figure anybody that looked at this and posted this in this context must be trying to do some damage.
Right.
And it's like, I heard that they did stuff like that on the website in the past. I can't say
because they want to generate hits and stuff.
Right. They want controversy. That's the new social media thing is controversy.
Right.
So I go to address it. Like the stupidest thing in the world I did was I go to address it on social media, which I go to send a tweet out like that's blah blah this and that, like some sort of like apology. Twitter. But the people that work with me, like the little squares and nerds at work, and they think like, well, you can't really say this and that. You got to say it like this. So they worded. I said it as a statement. Like, look, it was taken out of the wrong context. I didn't, wasn't intended for using that. I didn't know what the purpose was, and I was kind of like going like, "Hey, my bad." Yeah. And they were like, you got to be like an apology. So they put this shit out that they took part of what I said and they rewrote it and shot it out there. And it just, I read it and I was like, that's kind of like, that's not really an apology. That's like a cop out sort of. You got to you got to stand up on it. So that's what kind of pissed everybody off.
Right. Oh, interesting.
So they were really pissed. Like, first of all, you're gonna do that, then you're gonna throw out this little condescending.
Well, what were they mad at you for? Like, what was the problem?
It was very provocative. It was like, if you're
said you got a finger and you got to do stuff. It was the whole.
Right.
I'm not trying to repeat it because it's gonna.
Right.
No. We need the hit, Short. Go ahead, baby.
But it was. But then I read your interview in Ebony about it, and you were. It sounded like it actually really affected you, like that it was.
So what happened was I kicked back. I was like, I really got to learn the lesson about social media and how it's not about necessarily what piece of media that they have, is how you can make it look by shortening it, lengthening, adding stuff, doctoring it, whatever. But once it goes out, it's viral. So I just took a lesson learned, and I was kind of like falling back and just reading the stuff, and it's like, it's wrong for him to do that. He should go donate the services to orphanage kids, or everything in the world they were saying I should do. And I contacted this female who I know, this writer. Her name is Dream Hampton, and she was. I was reading like all the trails kept leading to her, and I guess she was either spearheading or the focal point of a discussion that was going on, and it really interested me because I was reading and it's like, it kept saying stuff like he's teaching rape. That's what it was saying. That is rape. That's an assault on a child, on a girl. No matter you telling one adolescent, we did the shit in junior high school. Yeah, and I talked to Dream and she's like, well. I was like, it's just something that we really did. I was just thinking back on the memory. She said, well, let me tell you something. When we were little girls and we got pinned on the wall by the boy that we liked and then he put his finger in us, we didn't necessarily feel good about that. She's like, we went home feeling violated at times and, guys were doing stuff like, watch me go over in the pool. I'm going to pull her top down and run.
Right.
And she's like, you guys laugh, but y'all don't know what we went home and thought. We would we didn't, And she gave me a lot of scenarios of how that affects a woman in the long run, right? In her future relationship. She's like, you don't even know that, some little kids actually do get raped. And it's not, she's like, in her mind, it's not different if you sit there and grab a girl and do that to her. Even though she's kind of willing, you're still kind of doing something she might not be ready for. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of getting what you're saying. And I didn't really realize as a kid, all our little giggling and with boy stuff that we did was leaving a trail of destruction behind us. And that led me to want to address this in a different way. And I really feel like now what I got out of it was you really got to be a little more responsible, because these days, like even like if this would have happened 20 years ago, it could have affected me in a much more different way. Like possibly, the kind of songs I would have been making or whatever. Right. But now I just kind of feel like there is a responsibility, especially now with the enter button. It's a different game right now. So, so I just feel like a lesson learned. Wish it didn't have to go down like that, but I went in there feeling like, smell my finger, and I came out like, kind of humbled.
Well, I gotta say, and we'll wrap it up. But I gotta say, the fact that Too Short is talking about, the trail of destruction that sometimes, I mean, that, to me, that it's almost like it's worth it. It's like, it's like you seem like, it's almost like that was a lesson learned in a positive way. So for whatever that's worth.
Yeah. And I never really got into this to be rude and cruel and, and kind of make these songs that you could say, oh, yeah, she's a bitch and tease the girls. So I always did it so it could be some kind of humor to the listener. And when I do shows, all the front rows, always the chicks, they love it. My turn.
So you heard it here first. If you want a woman to lick your dick up and down like it's corn on the cob, just ask her. Ask her nicely.
Ask her nice. Call it a vagina.
Folks. And address her as bitch in a very nice tone.
Ms. Bitch.
Can I have some vagina, bitch?
So folks.
It might work. It might work.
It might work in the 1 out of 10 times.
True story. I had a homeboy. His name is Mike. And I told him to we took him to this party. He's like totally out of his element. And we took him to this thug party. And Mike used to wear his hair like real stringy and long. And we took him to this pimp's hairdresser. And we got him like these pimp wave curl things. And then we told him to wear a suit. And we took him to this thug party. And he was like, man, I just feel crazy, man. Like, I don't even know what to do. I said, dude, look at how you look. Walk up to every girl that you like and just say, what's up? My name is Mike, bitch. He came back to me about an hour later and said, that shit worked.
That is fucking hilarious.
Man, that's a lesson from the champs.
And I told my other buddy, I said, he said, how do you get those girls? I said, just ask them. Just go up, ask them, you want to fuck? I said, you're going to get 99 girls going to say, fuck you. Fuck you, might get slapped in the face. What the fuck, bitch? He came back, he said, dude, that shit works.
Hello. I am Moshe Bot.
Listen, that was Too Short. Thank you so much for coming on, man. It's an honor to have you on here.
Had a good time.
And to everybody listening, cop Too Short's new album with E40, and follow him on Twitter at Too Short. Yeah. All right. You've been fucked by the champs. Thanks so much.
Hey.
Now you're fucking with the champs.
Yeah.